Thanks for watching this portion of Garage Logic on our YouTube channel, and thanks to our friends at Everest Men's Health for supporting this. Go to everestmenshealth.com to see if their team can help you with stronger energy and better health. And catch the Garage Logic podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
2021, the record on this day was 104 degrees in 1931, and as chilly as 37 degrees in 1917. And I did some more poking around for my own amusement. 17 records for the month of September are established pre-1925.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices. Secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror.
We're back. This is Joe Souchere, Garage Logic, although, of course, today we're focused on the national coverage of what happened this morning.
The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger.
And we're going to stay with this local coverage. We've been talking here and have made the decision to try and bring ourselves back onto the air in a more normal fashion.
These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat.
I can assure you, however, that our first responsibility is stay alerted to the national news.
But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation.
I got a call at 8 o'clock this morning from one of the kids I used to have who said, "Why don't you turn on CNN? A plane just crashed into the World Trade Center." Both of us thinking at the time it was a commercial air accident. And like everyone else in the country, the longer I watched, the more I realized I was witnessing for the first time in my life this country under attack, far more so than in 1993 when there was an attempt to bring down the World Trade Center in New York. This was clearly an attack on the United States.
Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shatter steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve.
And if they'll take 52-year-old guys with arthritis and a bad eye, sign me up.
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right.
If you find these guys, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I think the anger that people have is indescribable. I know it is for me.
America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining.
I would imagine all federal buildings are going to remain closed. All commercial air travel will remain locked down until noon tomorrow.
Today, our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we responded with the best of America.
Voting continues to take place. Primaries are underway in both Minneapolis and St. Paul, other areas of Minnesota. The polls will remain open, which is about as fitting a symbolic gesture as you could develop for a day when, absolutely without question, the very freedoms that represent this country have been well attacked by people who hate us.
Our military is powerful, and it's prepared. The search is underway for those who are behind these evil acts.
There's no other way to say it. And I hope that, and I don't even have a doubt that this country will rally.
I've directed the full resources of our intelligence and law enforcement communities to find those responsible and to bring them to justice.
Prior to A Band of Brothers making its debut Sunday night, Stephen Ambrose, the author, was asked, "Do you think the current generation could perform a D-Day?"
We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them. Join with all those who want peace and security in the world, and we stand together to win the war against terrorism.
And I've always had my doubts, and we've joked about it, but I think he gave the correct answer. Yes, of course it could. I don't know anyone who cannot be extraordinarily angered by the lives of innocent Americans being taken. They stole our airplanes. They crashed into two of our most notable buildings. Then they stole another airplane and they crashed into our Pentagon. Find me somebody who thinks this is something that we shouldn't avenge.
Tonight I ask for your prayers for all those who grieve, for the children whose worlds have been shattered, for all whose sense of safety and security has been threatened. And I pray they will be comforted by a power greater than any of us, spoken through the ages in Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world. Thank you. Good night, and God bless America.
I think you'd hear similar remarks from whoever would be the president if this happens again. I think you'd hear similar remarks.
Sure.
But I don't know about the behavior of the country. I don't know if we'd be as united as we were.
No.
Those first 24, 48, 2 weeks, 48 hours, 2 weeks, man, there was just no division whatsoever.
So let's even backtrack prior to that. So that was an election split. The nation was split 50-50. Bush beats Gore. So there was still a little bit of a tension for those 9 months or 10 months or whatever it was. But then it's as if everything dropped and we all just linked hands together, and slowly it's faded back to where we are today.
Yeah, and I think there's a really important observation to make. I'm not sure we know who our enemies are today. I'm not sure we know whether they're from within or without.
Wow.
That was a time of, clearly we understood that we were under attack, and it quickly became evident by whom. And today, who in the hell are our enemies? They're everywhere, and within and without. And I'm not sure the resolve is there with the mystery. Does the mystery want to preserve American freedom?
No, I don't think it does.
We did in 2001. That's what we felt that was under attack, was what in the world is this? Don't attack us.
Well, we got sucker punched.
We're a free people, and we intend to stay that way. I hope to God if it because it damn near might be inevitable that this could happen again.
Mm-hmm. And would it be ironic? I don't even know if that word would apply to this given situation. The fact that the enemy that we overtook has now regained control of the area that we overtook,
right,
using our equipment.
Yeah, and it's worse than that. If you read some analyses of the stuff that was left behind,
right, that was an arsenal.
Well, not only that, but apparently the means to create identity cards showing you're a member of the U.S. Armed Forces and this and that and the other thing. So how hard will it be for these toenail painters to shave themselves and get an American-style haircut and put on a suit, get on a plane with their military identification, and come to any country in the world?
They're very good at laying in the weeds. They're very good at waiting.
You know what else I remember about that day? We had to beg. What was Todd's role? Was he
general manager?
We had to beg the general manager to stay on the air. You
guys were going with national coverage.
Well, he was,
right?
He's following his instincts, and his instincts were, we better stay with Peter Jennings and ABC. And I just was irate. I said,
I remember how upset you were.
We have to talk about this. This is as much a local story as it is a national story or a world story. Mm-hmm. And he relented. We stayed on the air.
Yeah, your argument was, yes, Peter Jennings is giving you updates, but the event, as we know it, has already happened.
Right.
There are no more planes in the sky. Now these people that are listening to us, they want to be able to talk about what's going on in no better way than talk radio, serving the community. It was the right decision.
How long before we knew that one of the planes that went down in Pennsylvania had a Minnesotan.
Tom Burnett.
Yeah. How long, did we know that day?
That's a good question. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I think we did. Well, Tom was talking to his wife, Dina, and she told him everything that happened. And then he said, we're going to have to do something. I think initially what they thought, from what I've seen, is Tom and the crew on that flight thought they could break into the cabin and somehow be taught how to safely land the plane, or else tell the terrorists, we got you now. We overtook this again, not figuring that they were going to take the plane down.
But who are our enemies today?
Yeah, I was thinking about this morning, and I thought to myself, when you talked about who thinks what, Congress right now doesn't know how to do their job. They haven't done their job for several years, both sides.
Right.
What would happen in a case like this? Would it
Right.
keep being tribal?
Yes.
Or
I'm afraid it would be.
I'm afraid it would too.
Yeah.
I don't see any other way.
Well, can you compare the plight in Afghanistan to how we would react? I mean, we have hostages in that country right now that this current administration doesn't seem all that interested in helping.
I think you can compare the last 5 years.
Yeah,
parts
I
of
think
it.
that's fair.
I think January 6th you can compare to it. They've cut in their little tribes, and that's it. Nothing can change their view.
And law enforcement in Washington, D.C. is justifiably nervous about September 18th, when there's to be a rally in support of the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th.
I don't support those people.
I don't either.
I don't support what they did. And I still would consider myself a Republican. They don't represent me or my
Well, there is no. That's the problem. I remain politically lonely. There is no there is no Republican Party that I can even identify with.
Well, then why can't we have an IR, an independent Republican, right in the middle, that's going to get those people that are a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right? We're in mass. We're the biggest.
Well, those people now are ostracized, because I would say Adam Kinzinger is that. I would say Liz Cheney is that. Their views are still very conservative, but because they spoke out against Donald Trump, every Republican has cast them away.
So you're out too, Johnny. Huh?
We took a test.
Everybody thinks I'm a liberal Democrat,
right,
remember?
Yes.
Flaming
Right,
liberal.
flaming.
We took a test. Joe alerted us to a test. Was it the New York Times, Joe?
It was a 20-question test and they said, what if there were 6 parties in America? 6 political parties. And
It was actually interesting.
Yeah, you took the test, and then your answers resulted in you getting identified with one particular party. I ended up being all 3 of us. Did Johnny take the test?
I did not.
I don't
No,
think John was
no.
here. It was just you.
It was
me,
Wednesday.
And,
I'd
you,
be
me, and
interested in
Kenny.
that, yeah.
I ended up in something called the Growth and Opportunity Party.
Okay, which would mean probably commerce-based, let the market bear,
Well, pretty much.
laissez-faire.
Faith-based. There was a little bit of faith.
Yeah.
There was some of that,
But
too.
you could have ended up in the Patriot Party, the Liberal Party, the Christian Conservative Party, the Growth and Opportunity Party.
There was something with labor.
Labor Party. It was interesting. It was interesting.
But we all skewed kind of what you guys were just saying. Conservative views and conservative values, but center of the road. That's basically where the 3 of us all fell.
I don't know how the country will react to the president's vaccine mandates.
Oh, my God.
Again, I'm just puzzled by and he says, follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. Okay. How come it's okay for a company that has 100 employees?
No, under
100
99.
employees. So they have 99 employees. They don't have to issue a mandate to their employees. But if you have 105 employees, you do. There's no science
That's
there.
been our question the entire time.
Where's the
Why
science?
is the line here? Why is the line right here? And who decided that?
Yesterday, upon the conclusion of the show, Joe was in the other room doing email or whatever, playing Pokemon. And I was in here posting the show and doing whatever else. And I found a video of the White House. Is it Jen Psaki? Is that her name, John? Jen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And she was asked a question of, will the president look at mandating vaccinations and things like that? And she deadpanned and said, yes, with a smile on her face, just wait and see. And I thought, I looked at Joe and said, this is going to result in a civil war. Don't you guys get that feeling?
I think with this year, with the 20th anniversary, I really do think more people have come together. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm just saying I think with that milestone, there are more people coming together than more people are going further apart. I mean, it's with Afghanistan falling, there's a little more patriotism to, all right, we got to get this, you know what, in gear.
But look what's changed since 2001. Wokeness had not yet had a strong purchase on the culture.
Activism wasn't really an industry.
The American flag didn't trigger anybody in this country.
Okay.
Fireworks celebrations on the 4th of July didn't trigger anybody in this country. A lot has collapsed culturally since '01, and a lot of that is the decline of moral and ethical integrity. Mm-hmm. That's all post 9/11 as far as I'm concerned. Not all, of course. There's always been trouble with morality and ethical and behavior and integrity, but it is so fully ingrained in the culture. You think defund the police movements would have existed on 9/11? No. And do you think that?
In fact, I remember going to a Twins game. They had my dad at that time was still an active police officer, and there was an LEO appreciation night, and so I went with my dad. And the rousing applause at that Twins game when all of the LEOs stood up, it was incredible. And I thought, how far we've come from that day at that Twins game. It's either Twins or Vikings. I can't remember, but I was at the Dome. I remember that.
Well, and that's, you're right.
You have the NFL now not even using the national anthem.
No, they did it last night.
I thought they played two anthems.
Well, because my son and I watched. He loves watching the anthem before games. So we stood there and watched it last night.
I am closest to the Growth and Opportunity Party. I just took the test.
You took the test.
I'm going to go do that too.
And so it says to all you people who like to yell at me, I would be part of the pro-business wing of the Republican Party.
Right.
And it says the people I would like would be John Kasich. Yeah, I would have voted for him in a minute.
Me too.
For the presidency.
Me
so,
too.
There you go. We all five of us then are in.
We're the Growth.
Or four of us, I'm sorry.
Well, Ricky probably going to end up there too. We're not going to feed him any answers, and I bet you he ends up there himself.